Have you ever wondered why homeostasis is essential? In this presentation, we'll examine homeostasis and explore the answers to this question. We'll focus on the processes of homeostasis in plants and animals.
First, let us know what is homeostasis. Homeostasis is the internal balance of living organisms, regulating factors like temperature, pH, and glucose levels, ensuring optimal functioning and survival in both animals and plants. So, when we're talking about homeostasis, it means the body's attempt to maintain a constant and balanced internal environment, which requires persistent monitoring and adjustment as conditions change. Homeostasis involves three parts or mechanisms, and these are the receptor, the control center, and the effector. The receptor receives information that something in the environment is changing. The control center or integration center receives and processes information from the receptor. The effector responds to the commands of the control center by either opposing or enhancing the stimulus. This ongoing process continually works to restore and maintain homeostasis. For example, during body temperature regulation, temperature receptor in the skin communicate information to the brain, which is the control center, which signal the effectors. Blood vessels and sweat glands in the skin as the internal and external environment of the body are constantly changing. Adjustments must be made continuously to stay at or near a specific values or the set of the points.
Homeostasis in plants. Homeostasis is a process by which living organisms, including plants, maintain a balance within their internal systems. Plants have many ways to maintain homeostasis, including temperature control. Plants can use reflective surfaces to reduce the number of leaves they have, or position their leaves parallel to the sun to stay cool. They can also protect themselves from the cold by dropping their leaves, insulating themselves with dead leaves or hairs, or following the sun. In plants, temperature control in homeostasis is crucial for maintaining optimal metabolic processes, enzyme function, and overall health. Unlike animals, plants don't have a complex system to regulate temperature internally, but they do have several mechanisms to help them manage temperature and ensure proper functioning. Water and salt balance. Plants can regulate their water and salt balance by closing their stomata to reduce water loss or by excreting excess salt. Water and salt balance in plants are managed through a combination of physiological, biochemical, and structural mechanisms. These include osmotic regulation, ion transport, transpiration, and adaptation to prevent salt toxicity. Effective water and salt homeostasis enable plants to maintain cell structure, metabolic processes, and growth even in challenging environmental conditions. Sunlight. Plants exhibit photosynthesis, which is when they grow toward the sun to maximize the exposure to sunlight and maintain homeostasis of nutrients production through photosynthesis. Sunlight is integral to homeostasis in plants because it drives photosynthesis, regulate growth and development, and influence processes like gas exchange, flowering, and temperature regulation. By optimizing the response to light, plants ensure they maintain balance in their internal environment and thrive in their respective habitats. Transpiration. Transpiration is the process of water evaporating from plants' tissues. It helps drive water and nutrients through the plant, provide evaporative cooling, and is required for photosynthesis. Transpiration plays a key role in maintaining homeostasis in plants by regulating water balance, nutrients transport, temperature, and gas exchange. It is a crucial process that supports the plant's internal equilibrium, balancing the need for water conservation with the requirements for energy production, growth, and survival. Through various mechanisms like stomata regulation and respiration, plants adjust their transpiration rates to respond to environmental conditions, ensuring optimal functioning. Lastly, nutrient recycling. Plants generate and secrete organic acids to maintain intracellular pH homeostasis and ion balance. Nutrient recycling in plants is essential for maintaining homeostasis. It allows plants to efficiently use valuable resources, adapt to environmental changes, and continue growing even when external nutrient supply may be limited.
Homeostasis in animals. Homeostasis is a stable state within an animal's body maintained by internal and external changes. It involves negative feedback relationships between blood glucose, body temperature, and calcium levels. This mechanism is known as thermoregulation and osmoregulation. Ensure the body maintains dynamic equilibrium by adjusting to changes even in seemingly inactive animals. Failure of these mechanisms can lead to unfavorable outcomes. Homeostasis refers to the maintenance of a stable internal environment within an animal's body. This stability is crucial for survival and proper function. The body achieves homeostasis through various mechanisms that counteract internal and external changes. The two key homeostatic mechanisms are the thermoregulation. This is the process of regulating body temperature. Animals maintain a relatively constant internal temperature despite fluctuations in the external environment. This involves mechanisms like sweating, shivering, and changes in blood flow. Next is the osmoregulation. This is the process of regulating the balance of water and electrolytes, like sodium and potassium, in the body. It ensures that the concentration of solutes in the body fluids remain within a narrow range. This involves mechanisms like the production and excretion of urine. Negative feedback is also a control mechanism where a change in a variable triggers a response that counteracts the change, bringing the variable back to its set point. For example, if blood glucose levels rise, the body releases insulin to lower them. Failure of these homeostatic mechanisms can lead to unfavorable outcomes. These outcomes can range from mild discomfort to severe illness or even death. For example, failure of thermoregulation can lead to hyperthermia, dangerously low body temperature, or hyperthermia, dangerously high body temperature. Failure of osmoregulation can lead to dehydration or electrolyte imbalances. So, homeostasis is the maintenance of a stable internal environment in animals achieved through mechanisms like thermoregulation, which is a temperature control, and osmoregulation, which is a water and electrolyte balance. These mechanisms use negative feedback to counteract changes in variables such as blood glucose, body temperature, and calcium levels. Failure of these mechanisms can result in various health problems ranging from mild discomfort to serious illness or death.
The first, we have the plants in homeostasis, and the second is the animals in homeostasis. Why plants' homeostasis differs from animals? Plants, unlike animals, can detect and respond to environmental changes through hormones and chemical control mechanisms, allowing them to maintain their unique form of homeostasis. Plants, unlike animals, maintain homeostasis through unique mechanisms, relying on hormones and chemical control systems to detect and respond to environmental changes. Here's a detailed explanation. These are the key mechanisms. The first is the hormone signaling. Plant hormones regulate growth, development, and stress responses. Second, we have the chemical control mechanisms. Plants utilize chemical signals to coordinate activities between cells, tissues, and organs. The third is the cell wall sensing. Plant cells detect mechanical stresses, triggering responses to maintain cell wall integrity. The fourth is the photoreceptors. Plants respond to light intensity, quality, and duration through photoreceptors like photochromes and cryptochromes. Environmental responses. The first is the phototrophism. Plants bend towards or away from light sources. The second is the gravitophism. Plants respond to gravity, directing roots downward and shoots upward. The third is stigmotrophism. Plants respond to touch, altering growth patterns. Fourth is the temperature regulation. Plants adjust growth, metabolism, and stress responses to temperature fluctuations. And the last one is the water stress response. Plants conserve water, adjust stomatal aperture, and produce stress hormones. Next is the homeostatic regulation. We have the first one, which is the water balance. Plants regulate water uptake, transport, and storage. The second is the ion balance, which means plants maintain optimal ion concentration, regular nutrient uptake. The third is the sugar allocation. Plants distribute sugars between sources or leaves and sinks or roots and fruits. The fourth is the defense compound production. Plants produce chemical defenses against pathogens and herbivores. Next is for the animals in homeostasis. Animals maintain homeostasis by regulating body temperature, blood levels despite inactive, and energy is derived from food consumption. Animals maintain homeostasis or a stable internal environment through various physiological processes. These are the key processes. The first one is the regulating body temperature. Animals maintain a relatively constant body temperature. Despite external changes, this ensures optimal cellular function, enzyme activity, and metabolic rate. Mechanisms include sweating, panting, shivering, and behavioral adaptations. The second is the maintaining blood levels. Animals regulate blood pH, glucose, oxygen, and carbon dioxide levels. This is achieved through respiratory adjustments, renal regulation, and hormonal control. The first is the energy from food consumption. Animals derive energy from nutrients in food, which is converted into ATP, which means adenosine triphosphate, through cellular respiration. This energy supports various bodily functions. Have any of you curious of why homeostasis is essential? The homeostasis is essential because first, homeostasis is an optimal cellular function. Second is the efficient energy production. Third, stress minimization. And the fourth is the overall health. Homeostasis is crucial for animals to adapt, survive, and thrive in changing environments. We're now moving on to the similarities of the animals and plants in homeostasis. So, why they are similar? Both plants and animals employ chemical defenses to maintain internal stability, demonstrating a shared aspect of protecting themselves from infections that can disrupt their homeostasis. Plants and animals share similarities in chemical defense mechanisms to maintain homeostasis and protect against infections. Here's why. The first is the infection prevention, preventing pathogen entry and colonization. The second is the homeostasis maintenance, preserving internal stability and a physiological balance. Third is the survival and fitness, ensuring continued growth, reproduction, and adaptation. Similar chemical defense strategies. Antimicrobial compounds both produce chemicals toxic to pathogens. Second is the inflammatory responses. Plants and animals isolate infected areas. Third is the systemic signaling. Hormone-like molecules coordinate defense responses. Fourth is the cellular reinforcement. Plants and animals strengthen cellular defenses. Plant-specific defenses are the pathogenesis, salicylic acid and jasmonic acid, phytoalexins, and more. The animal defenses are the immune system, cytokine signaling, and complement system. So that is why the plants and animals employ chemicals defenses to maintain homeostasis, illustrating convergent evolution and shared strategies against infectious threats.
Thank you for watching this presentation on homeostasis. We hope you found this journey into biology as exciting as we did. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below.